UFC Fight Night Vegas 42, Holloway versus Rodriguez just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well, because what an amazing card this was. Let's start straight away with the early prelim opener of Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Jung. Interesting fight to start off the card. Jung gets a first round TKO with elbows, brutal finish in the first round. Man, I don't know what Kennedy Nzechukwu was doing out there. I picked him to win. I thought he was maybe covering up early on to try and come back later on in the fight and get a late rounds TKO, but no, he just didn't really throw anything whatsoever and just kept taking punishment over and over and over again by Jung, and eventually Jung just rained down elbows on him. It didn't even look like the initial elbows even landed on Nzechukwu. It looked like they landed on the guard of Nzechukwu, but Nzechukwu just couldn't even take the tremors from the elbows landing on the guard. I guess Jung's got some power, because he does have a lot of KO power, and those elbows were lethal. He kept pounding away with the elbows on Kennedy, pushed him up against the cage, more elbows over and over and over again. Kennedy just shelled up the entire time, did not leave his shell, kept defending, kept the guard up, but eventually got TKO'd against the cage. Not a good chin by Kennedy Nzechukwu, and I didn't think that was going to be the case, because he showed a great chin against Carlos Ulberg, but I guess Jung just has some different level power, and he puts away Nzechukwu in the first round. Very, very good win, and very good win for Jung. He needs to be number 15 in the light heavyweight division's rankings immediately, or there's something wrong with those rankings. He's on a win streak right now. I believe he's on a 14 fight, no loss streak. Crazy. Jung's on a mission, and he just took out Nzechukwu. Moving on up the card, Marc versus Rafael Alves. I picked Diakiese to win. Wrong again for myself. He got stumbled by a jab in the first round. Rafael Alves, man, I guess he's got some power. He dropped Damir Ismagulov in the first round, but I thought that was mainly down to the fact that Damir had been out for a long time. But no, he stumbles Diakiese with a jab, follows up with a jump knee that doesn't really land on the chin, but it threatens Diakiese enough to where he needs to close the distance and go for a takedown. And when he goes for the takedown, the guillotine's in there, and Rafael Alves pulls the guillotine, gets it immediately. Now, Diakiese actually wasn't in that much danger in the guillotine, I will say this. He could have recovered from that position. He was in full guard. He just had his knees down on the side. If he would have found his way back up to his knees, upright in full guard, he would have been able to escape that guillotine. He actually had an arm in the guillotine as well, so he definitely would have been able to escape. But Rafael Alves, he has it on so tight, so quickly, and Diakiese just didn't defend quick enough, which made him tap immediately, because he is going to tap you out with a guillotine. It's just there were steps that Diakiese could have made, but he was panicking. He was hurt by a jab. I get it. It was so quick, so fast. It was probably all a blur to him, and now he's tapping. Alves gets the first round guillotine. Moving on up the card, Cortney versus Liana Jojua. I mean, Jojua just can't really fight. I think she kind of knocked down Casey in the second, but it was more so Casey being off balance. But, yeah, Casey's much better than Liana Jojua. Jojua doesn't know what she's doing out there whatsoever. Don't know how she got 8 wins. But Casey's pretty good for a 9-9 fighter at the time. Picked her to win this one by decision, 30-27. I think I actually picked her by submission, but it didn't really end up on the ground too much. Casey was just outlanding Liana Jojua every single round on the feet, pretty convincingly. Jojua had certain moments in round 2 and a couple of moments where she'd land a big shot, but overall, it was Casey landing combination punches, going to the body, going to the legs, landing kicks upstairs. I think she landed a front kick to the face in the first round. Very good performance by Casey, who's now 10-9. Women's MMA. Liana Jojua, she missed weight. They put so much promotion behind her. Didn't look good whatsoever. And Casey got it done as I predicted. Moving on up the card. Sean Woodson versus Collin Anglin. I mean, great performance by Sean Woodson. First round TKO. I said he'd get the first round TKO with knees. He did start with knees, but he ended up finishing with body shots against the cage on Collin Anglin. Amazing finish by Sean Woodson. He went out there. He looked calm. He looked patient. Anglin gave him a couple of looks here and there. A couple of takedown attempts that didn't really land too badly. But then Sean Woodson was just defending them, getting the underhook, working his way back up against the cage, turning around Collin Anglin, separating from the cage, getting back to the open. Sean Woodson's good in the open, man. Very rangy guy for the featherweight division. Very big guy for the featherweight division as well. I have no idea how he makes that weight class. Collin Anglin looked like a bantamweight out there, or a flyweight. They looked about 2 divisions apart. So Sean Woodson, very good guy. Very good at range, good front kicks, good leg kicks, but the hands, when it mattered most, were the body shots over and over and over again on Collin Anglin against the cage. He got hurt to the body badly with like a knee and a couple of punches, tried to recover, got hurt badly again, tried to recover, got hurt badly again to the body, tried to recover, and then immediately the next shot that landed shut down his body, put him to the canvas. Credit to Anglin, because I know how tough it is to get back up from those body shots, and he kept trying to get back up, but Sean Woodson just kept pouring it on and got the finish in the first round by TKO. Moving on up the card, Cynthia Calvillo versus Andrea Lee. I picked Cynthia Calvillo to win this one because she beat Jessica Rai and Joanne Calderwood, who are much better than Andrea Lee. But she can't beat Andrea Lee because Andrea Lee looked a lot better, in all honesty. Her stand-up looked improved, was landing good shots early in the fight. First round was pretty close, in all honesty. I actually thought it actually had an argument for either way in the first round, but people were telling me I was wrong. Andrea Lee should have won the first round, and according to the stats, I am completely wrong here. But either way, I thought it was a close first round, pretty competitive first round, and Calvillo got a takedown at the end of the first as well. But Andrea Lee took over in the second pretty dominantly, started landing lots of shots, combination punches. I thought Cynthia Calvillo was still in there. I also thought that Andrea Lee broke her hand in that second round as well. But Cynthia Calvillo decided that 20 strikes a round was too much for her, so she quit on the stall. And in my honest opinion, quit the sport. You quit. Quit the sport of MMA. You don't want it. You don't want it. You don't want to be a world champion. Where's the comeback spirit? Where's, oh my God, she looked like she broke her hand in that second round. I can maybe come back in the third and get a takedown and win. There was none of that. It was, I've been outlanded, but not like dominated to where it's a 10-8 round or anything like that. There were no 10-8 rounds in that fight. She just got outlanded consistently throughout the fight, and that was too much for her to continue. If this was a male fighter that did that at the end of round 2, there would be an absolute outrage amongst everyone, calling him a pussy and a coward. Cynthia Calvillo quit. Don't fucking participate in the sport if you don't want to be a fighter. End of story. You got barely outlanded in rounds 1 and 2. Hurt to the body in round 2, I understand. But Anglin, ripped to the body, goes down, gets back up, tries to throw back. Like, Calvillo, fuck off. You don't want to be here, clearly. Like, why are you quitting on the stall there? I get it, though. Don't take extra damage. But at the same time, do you want to be a champ or not? Good win from Andrea Lee. She moves right up the rankings. I'd like to see a rematch between her and Lauren Murphy because I thought she won the first fight. Moving on. Thiago Moises versus Yoel Alvarez now. Outside of all the other underdogs that won on the prelims, this is the one that I picked to win on the prelims. I thought Yoel Alvarez was going to get this one done. I thought he was a massive underdog, and I'm thinking to myself, like, the only reason the odds are this way is because people judge Makhachev based on how he looked against Moises, and because Moises took Makhachev 4 rounds, it must mean that Moises is amazing. I never thought that. I knew Moises was not amazing. I knew Yoel Alvarez was amazing. He's very good. He's only lost to Demiris Magulov in the UFC. He's beaten all the other guys that he's taken on. Not too many great opponents, but this was a great opponent that he took on. The one problem I have with him, fucking make weight, you cunt. Annoying as fuck that he missed weight. Either way, though, he only missed it by a couple of pounds, but he's missed weight 3 times in a row. I know he's had a year off, but he comes back and he fucking misses weight again. He's a giant for the division. Looked like a welterweight out there against Thiago Moises. Could honestly even have a future at welterweight as well because he's got a good chin, took some big bombs early on, landed big shots on the calf of Moises, a couple of big leg kicks, and you can't take Yoel Alvarez's leg kicks. He's like the Rakic of the lightweight division. Dangerous, dangerous leg kicks. He's got good jiu-jitsu, and that's what he's known for. Arm bars, triangles on bottom, dash chokes, guillotines. But here he showed off the stand-up. Big shots on the feet against Moises. Elbow after elbow after elbow after elbow. Big elbow slices open Moises. He sort of sinks down a little bit against the cage. He'd been beaten up for about 2 straight minutes at the end of that moment in the first round anyway. And the referee had seen enough. Could it have gone on a little bit longer? Maybe Alvarez lands a couple of follow-up shots and just finishes the job for good. Maybe, but Moises didn't seem to complain whatsoever about the stoppage. Was completely out of there. Split open to the head. Blood pouring down his face. Semi-conscious. I guess they can call that a good stoppage. Yoel Alvarez, amazing performance. Great shots landed on Moises, including a wheel kick at one point as well. Great performance by Yoel Alvarez. Moving on to the main card, which was Song Yadong versus Julio Arce. Yadong versus Arce. I'm going to go with Song Yadong. Well, I'm not going to go with him. He won. I'm reacting to these. Song Yadong won by a second round head kick finish, followed up with some other shots afterwards. I mean, Song Yadong looks better and better every single time we see him. He looked a little bit rough when he first got to the UFC, didn't really look like he'd found his feet yet, but now, after his last few performances, seems a lot more composed. That's the main difference. Before, he'd swing a little bit reckless, like against Kyler Phillips. He's over-swinging a lot of his shots, looking for the KO blow, and Phillips would like dive underneath for a well-timed double leg and get him to the ground. Kyler Phillips showed him a lot of holes in his game. Needs to compose himself a little bit more, not get as wild with a guy especially as wild as Kyler Phillips. He stayed composed out there. He won the first round very clearly against Arce, and honestly, Arce didn't look like he fucking showed up to fight, in all honesty. I thought this was like a live dog. I picked Song Yadong, but I thought, you know what? Not going to put him in any of my parlays because Arce's got good leg kicks and he's good and he's technically a great fighter. He's beat Julio Narosa. He beat Dan Ige in the featherweight division as well. But no, Song Yadong, no nonsense. 17-5 in the first round on strikes. 13-8 in the second round, but he landed the ones that mattered most. The big head kick, the big body shots as well. Finished him off against the cage. Good shots by Song Yadong. Good finish as well. Multiple shot combination. Puts down Julio Arce. Great performance by Song Yadong, honestly. He's looking really good in the bantamweight division. Lot more composed. That's the main thing I noticed. Composure. Doesn't overthrow his shots anymore. He's not throwing wild shots here and there. Very tight, very composed. He looked like a Walmart Piotr out there, in all honesty, and I think he could be a top contender in the bantamweight division. Moving on up the card, Miguel Baeza versus Khaos Williams. Man, feel bad for Miguel Baeza. Was looking really good in that fight. I thought he was winning that fight. Khaos, the stats they were showing were rigged. Like, every Khaos Williams fight, they do this. Bullshit stats that have Khaos Williams up by like fucking 30. Made no sense to me whatsoever. Miguel Baeza, 4 strikes in round 1. Am I confused? I get it, because Khaos Williams was landing the ground and pound shots, but 4 strikes for Miguel Baeza, that was it? Really? That's what you're going to try and tell me? I don't believe that whatsoever, but he had a leg lock attempt in the first round. Khaos Williams just sitting in there accepting it. But man, Khaos Williams come back in the third round, lands the KO blow. I thought Miguel Baeza won the second round quite clearly, landed the bigger shots, had his moments there as well, rocked Khaos Williams a lot of times in the second. Somehow they still had Khaos up on strikes in the second, and even on the official recount, it's 26-23. On the live numbers, they had him like almost tripling Baeza. They are so hell-bent on getting Khaos Williams to the top because his name's Khaos. I understand he's very marketable, but fuck me, man. Like, stop lying about the stats. It was a very close fight. Baeza maybe lost the first on damage, but won it because of the submission attempt. Can go either way. Round 2, I thought Baeza won it. Was starting to chop up the calf of Khaos Williams really badly. Landed some big shots on the chin of Khaos as well. Khaos just swings. Dude, Khaos won in the third round, but Baeza's the only one who could really be a top contender in that division. He looked great out there. Looked like he was finally getting his groove. Chopped up the leg of Khaos Williams in the third round as well, but Khaos literally threw a punch like this. Like, someday he's gonna get chinned. I'll keep picking against him. If he keeps getting technically good fighters, his luck's gonna fucking run out. I swear to God. He landed a KO blow, very good, but man, the way this fucking guy throws punches, switch gyms. If Khaos Williams, let me give him this credit. He's very athletically good. He's got the base fundamentals of a world champion or a top contender. But his technique is fucking garbage. Who is teaching you to throw strikes like that, dude? Get rid of him. Whatever gym you're at with Jamal Hill and Joaquin Buckley, leave the fucking gym, dude. Anyone who's teaching you to throw punches, the last combination started with a punch like this. Like he was front crawling the punch over. Whoever's teaching you to throw like that, dude, stop. Now, if you could learn some technique and actually throw shots correctly and maybe, I don't know, have a jab, Khaos Williams to Team Elevation, Trevor Whitman, get some rounds in with the welterweights there, and I think he'll be a top contender for sure. He could get some rounds in with Usman, the champ, at Team Elevation. Why not? Khaos Williams, Team Elevation, get to Trevor Whitman's gym, and you could actually be a top contender, but his technique is atrocious. But he gets it done with a third round KO, lands it out of nowhere with a big right hook. Good job by Khaos Williams. Sucks for Miguel Baeza. He protested the stoppage, but he went down badly, so you can't blame the referee for going in there. Khaos Williams gets it done by third round KO. Moving on up the card, Felicia Spencer versus Leah Letson. I laughed about this during the fight, but honestly, wasn't a bad performance. It looked wrong because they're just clinching against a cage, and that's typically just what women's MMA is. But Spencer put a pace on her. She broke her down, beat her up against a cage, landed big shots, tried her takedowns, couldn't get the takedowns in the earlier rounds, but started getting more of them as the rounds went on. Leah Letson's tough. She took some big shots, big elbows, especially in the clinch. But yeah, Felicia Spencer's too big, too strong. And she's not Leah Letson. Why is Leah Letson here? I don't know. I have no fucking idea. But she's here. She's now 5-3. Why is she here? But Felicia Spencer gets a win. Third round TKO to ground and pound. It was a worthy stoppage. Leah Letson was done trying to defend. She was beaten up. Her eyes were swollen. Her lips were busted. And Felicia Spencer just pours it on for a finish. Gets a dominant position in the third round and rains it down. And actually goes for a finish, which I really respect because she easily could have just laid on top and won herself a decision. Good fight. Felicia Spencer gets it done. Tough Leah Letson, but Spencer's just way bigger, way stronger, way better. She got it done. Felicia Spencer looked good. And I know I was laughing the whole time because of how shit everything looked, but it was a high-paced fight for a women's MMA fight, so credit to her. Felicia Spencer gets it done. Moving on, up the card, Ben Rothwell versus Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, the co-main event. I went with Ben Rothwell here. I disagree with the stoppage massively. Don't agree with that. Now, don't get me wrong, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, and this is the argument that people use to justify stoppages, probably was going to win, okay? Looking good in the first round, a couple of leg kicks immediately put Ben Rothwell off, and then all of a sudden, boom, big right hand lands from Marcos, and Rothwell stumbling backwards, gets cracked against a cage. He's throwing back, though. He keeps his eyes open, throwing back, swinging back, gets cracked again by another big shot. Both guys swinging and missing some more. He gets cracked again by another big shot. He dips a bit. His sort of head goes down, but then Herb Dean fucking jumps in and then goes, keep it going. Oh, no, we'll stop it. First of all, Ben Rothwell got cracked. He went down, not out. He wasn't going to face plant or anything like that. Maybe he looked like he could have done. He went down, he got cracked, recovered, got the body lock and started driving for a takedown. But Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, first of all, by the way, used the cage, because he's looking over at Herb, grabbing the fucking cage, to drive his hips into Ben Rothwell on the ground. So Rothwell goes to the ground, he's clinging onto the double leg, he gets his knees under him to try and drive through it and end up on top. But Herb Dean stopped the fight because he mistakenly tried to stop the fight and realised, oh wait, the guy's still fucking in there. I'll just stop it now because Marcos is looking at me. Fucking retard, Herb Dean. Don't agree with the stoppage. I get it. He probably would have lost anyway. But you've got to give a chance for a comeback turnaround. He could have ended up on top there after that takedown. And also, Marcos had his fucking fingers in the cage, driving his hips down into Ben Rothwell. And Herb ignored that fucking shit. But, you know, Marcos probably would have won. I was wrong. I'm not saying I was right, but Rothwell, just tough way to go out, you know. He was in there. He was trying to fight back. Herb just realised, fuck, I've technically already stopped it, you know. I'll just stop it now. Like, just to sort of cover his own arse, rather than thinking about Ben Rothwell's fucking win bonus. You know what I mean? Just to cover himself as to not make more of a mistake. Because he technically touched Marcos, so the fight should be over. But he realised, oh fuck, he's still in there. Oh, I'll just stop it 5 seconds later for no fucking reason. Anyway, moving on up the card. Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. Great performance by both, man. Honestly, I can't say enough respect for Yair Rodriguez. Max Holloway looked like Max Holloway. He looked great out there, had his moments. See some people saying 4-1. What the fuck are these scorecards recently? Could have been fucking 4-1. I don't know what people have a problem with. I know it doesn't really display the closeness of the fight, but Holloway won 4 rounds, maybe. Could have been close. Second round could maybe go to Yair. Don't think it does. 5th round is arguable as well, but I don't think that does either upon rewatching it. Holloway won the fight 4-1, in my opinion. 2 of the rounds were very close. Rounds 2 and round 5. But round 3, 4, and 1. Round 3, 4, and 1 were pretty clear to the winner. Round 1 was still very close. Yair landed good shots. Holloway landed good shots, but Yair would land bigger shots, and he would land really big calf kicks as well in that round. So I gave the first round to Yair Rodriguez. Round 2, Holloway. Barely, though, because Yair was still in there, chopping at that calf, doing work, landing big shots of his own. Round 3, Holloway started grappling with him, and you could see Yair start to break down. He was getting knee to the body against a cage. Holloway was taking him down, beating him up on the ground, getting him full mount, landing big shots. Yair was grabbing the gloves in those positions, but still, Holloway dominated the third round, had a very clear win there. Not a 10-8 round. Some people were saying 10-8 in my live stream, but it wasn't a 10-8 round. Close round, not a close round. A clear round for Holloway. Dominant round for Holloway. I thought Rodriguez was done after that round. I actually called that Rodriguez would quit on the stall at the end of the third round. He didn't quit. He came back out in the fourth, tried to win again, got taken down again, got beaten up on the ground some more, got beaten up on the feet as well, had his moments on the feet with a spinning shot, a head kick, a spinning elbow, an upwards elbow, a couple of shots here and there. Round 5 was very close as well, but Holloway gets it done. Yair was grabbing the gloves. Holloway landed 2 eye pokes. Pretty even Stevens, if you ask me. But yeah, Rodriguez fucking kept grabbing the gloves on the ground. That's the only reason he survived, I think, as well. Although the toughness. Very tough guy. Although the toughness, he was grabbing the gloves a lot on the ground. And I think if he wasn't doing that, Holloway would be non-stop punching him over and over again. Aldo rematch style. Boom, 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 boom. Aldo first fight style as well for Holloway. Holloway's nuts. He's the second best featherweight in the world by far. But I say by far, dude, I think it's Champ Volkanovski. Next guy down's Holloway. Yair Rodriguez, and then everyone else. Maybe Chikedze's there now. Maybe we'll see how he looks against Calvin Kattar, but still, Chikedze's probably in that mix soon. We'll see how he looks, but man, Yair Rodriguez made Holloway look normal. He made Holloway look human. He made Holloway look beatable. He made me believe that Volkanovski beats Holloway in a trilogy as well, which is a big deal because that's the next fight to happen. I think Volkanovski's going to beat Holloway in the trilogy. The calf kicks that Holloway kept taking against Yair, Volk loves him. Volk loves to grapple. I think he's going to grapple more in the trilogy against Holloway. Try and get him to the ground and beat him up there. Volk showed improved grappling against Brian Ortega. I think he's going to go out there and have a good time against Holloway, but I think it's going to be a close fight again. It's always going to be a close fight that's competitive. But man, Yair Rodriguez, dog tough, there for every round. Holloway does what Holloway does. Great technique, great boxing. Great movement, great combinations, always finish the exchange. If Yair Rodriguez started it with a head kick, Holloway would finish it with a body shot or two. Just kept on Yair Rodriguez, constant pressure, constant volume. Holloway did what Holloway does. I'm worrying about his mental health because he's taken a lot of damage in nearly every fight that he fucking has. Even against Kattar, he took 100 fucking strikes. But, you know, solid performance by Holloway, man. You can't deny it. He's going to need some time off for sure. Maybe March next year. I wanted it to be on February as the co-main event of Adesanya versus Whittaker 2, but doesn't look like that's going to be likely now. March, April, hopefully March. Come on, let's get it back in there. It's only the start of November, midway point in November, so maybe April, maybe February is possible because Holloway took a shit ton of damage against Poirier and came back a couple of months later and beat Edgar, so maybe he does turn around real quick. I hope he does. Great matchup though. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Yair just gained everyone's respect. Broke his foot in round 2. Kept fucking swinging. Good job, Yair. Amazing job, Holloway. One of the cards of the year by far, for sure. Goodbye.